Welcome back to Piston Broke with Matt and Jim.
Sorry. It's good night from me and it's good night from him. Right, okay, should we try that again?
Okay.
Right.
Welcome back to Piston Broke with Matt
and Jim.
And here we are back on a sunny weekend here in Chelmsford where we're with Dotty, our 1977 MG Midget.
That's right.
I'm your apprentice for the day, so tell me what we've got to do.
Okay, so first thing to do, first of all, we're going to remove the old hood and fixings. So on Dotty, underneath the hood rail at the front, there's a fixing rail under the hood rail, so we need to drill some rivets out to release the front of the hood from the frame. And at the back there is some little hex through bolts which we fitted through the rear kind of body tub, so we're going to unscrew those as well. We've undone the normal press studs that you remove to lower the hood anyway. So we're going to start at the back, undo the fixing, so it means one of us inside the car and one outside. We'll take off the little hex fittings, then we'll fold the roof back and we'll drill out the rivets on the hood frame at the front. And then we're ready to start lining up the hood. It's a good day riveting the hood frame at the front. Once we've got it in the right position, I think we'll probably use a little bit of contact adhesive as well, just to glue the edges of the trim rail at the front. Well, I'll tell you what, I sweated my tits off sitting inside the car last time. You can go inside this time. Do you want? So we've disconnected the bolts holding the little trim rail in the back there, the finisher. So we're going to fold the roof down now, and we need to remove this rubber trim, rubber weather strip rather. And the next thing that we need to do is to drill out all of these rivets along here to remove this aluminium finisher, which will allow us then to take the hood off the frame. And then refitting basically the reverse process, and I think what we'll do is with the new hood we'll glue these bits. We'll try and trim them up a bit. This is a bit messy here, so I'll go ahead, grab a drill, and we'll drill out these rivets here first. Okay, so I've got a 3.2mm high-speed steel bit in the drill, set it on low speed, so we're just going to take the head off the pop rivet now, and yeah, it's really come off without any trouble at all, but jammed on the end of the drill bit.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm just going to use a flat bladed screwdriver and just work my way underneath, freeing off this weather strip from the rivets. So if it was a good hood that was staying, I'd pop a little cloth under just to protect, but it doesn't actually matter if we damage this hood cover at all, because as I say, it's going in the bin. So we're just working our way along, freeing off the pop rivets, and then the little aluminium finisher rail comes off. Pop that to one side, and the cover can now come off. We don't need to be too gentle with this. So we'll rip off the old cover, which has been glued. You can see the contact cement there, so we'll glue the new one on in the same manner once we've pop riveted it in place. So we're just getting that off, and we'll use some solvent just to clean off the residue of the old contact cement there. We now need to drill out the body of the rivet, so we'll use a slightly larger drill bit for this. So I'm just going to drill out the body of the rivet now from the hood frame. So we've drilled out the rivets and removed the cover, which was glued onto the header rail. I've also taken the header rail off, decided to give it a little bit of a clean up. There's a little bit of surface corrosion at the ends here. So I think while we've got it off, we need to remove the glue anyway, and I'd rather not do that while the header rail's in the car. So I think we'll give it a little sand over and a coat with some satin black. It's a nice dry day, so give it a good time for that to dry. Okay, so I'll pop the header rail on the bench. I've got a 240 grit sander on my random orbit sander, so we'll have a go now and take a little bit of the paint on.
So after taking the header rail off, there was a little bit of surface rust, and we decided just to hit that with a wire brush attachment. And yeah, typical project creep, we ended up taking the whole header rail down to bare metal and gave it a prime, and we'll finish that off later with a little bit of satin black. You don't really see it, but we've gotten rid of any of the sort of the glue residue, and we've got a nice flat surface to attach the new hood to. So just those three, yeah?
Yeah. Have a go on your side. Frame out, now it's not on the car. Okay. So right. I want to do it both, each end. See how it works.
One, two, three.
Yeah, we don't have to force it if it won't go easily. So hold it out of the way there, please don't get your hands anywhere near.
How about that? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So one of the issues we've discovered, unfortunately, is when we took the hood off, we folded the hood frame back, and somehow it's twisted, and the front part where the header rail attaches has pinged underneath, and it's now wedged in. We've been trying to think about how we can do this, whether or not we can prise it and twist it and bend it back. And we're at the situation now where we're terrified of breaking one of the welds, because that means we just have to junk the hood frame. So we're just having a go seeing if we can knock out one of the press studs, which we can then bend the bar back, and then hopefully replace that with something that we can think about later. You need to hold it.
Yes, please.
So for those of you watching in black and white, just here you can see we've had to drill out one of the sort of the pressings, which all around the hood where they have these junctions going in. This will attach here, you can see the holes match up there, and we've been able now to get the front bar, which has the header rail attachment, back round into its correct position at the front. Okay, but now we're going to have to try and reattach this bit here. So here it's perfect.
Yeah, so we've got to go, yeah, hold it like that. That's good. And then this bolt is too long.
Yeah,
but we'll just cut the bolt down afterwards. Or cut it down and then refit it.
You're nearly there. So I don't know if you can see here this fantastically modified bolt here that we've put in here. The technical term for this is a get out of jail, you cocked up because you worked half an hour longer than you should have, when you should have actually packed up and had tea and started the next day. When we were folding the hood back, the hood frame, this piece here somehow, you can see just the mark here, it hooked behind this attachment here, and it meant then that this front piece here that fixes onto the header rail was jammed back, almost like a dog leg.
I'll take this side. There we go. You right? Yep. So that's the right way round. This is where we find out it's a B hood, not a midget one.
So it's not TF.
That's nice. Yeah, it's going to look good.
Okay.
Needs to really get
Probably.
weight difference.
Yeah. Okay. What we might do is, as we're pulling it around to mark it, we'll try. I mean, is it worth putting in one of the lift the dock things here on each corner here, just
actually,
to hold it? So as we're pulling it tight, we can sort of
two on my side line up.
Yeah, I've all 3 on my side.
Oh yeah, 3 of mine line up. Just the front 2. Let's put those on and snap the hood on those. So what we're doing here now is just fitting the lift the dot fasteners that came with the hood into the existing holes, which are ready punched. 3 of these holes line up with the lift the dot fastener already, so we're going to use those and see how we get on. We did add some extra studs at the front, so we'll probably fit those to the hood in due course. So it's basically a 2-part screw on, just like you saw us do on the video for the other video when we added extra fittings at the back. Screws onto there like that. Art for this, but basically I'm just using a pair of straight circlip pliers which fit into the holes quite nicely and allow you to tighten up the lift the dot fastener like that. So there's one, and simply it locks on like that. So I'll grab a couple more as well.
Yeah, see, that's in line perfectly with the guttering.
Yeah, so on my side it appears to be a little bit short to come over the edge of the hood frame rail, so it's going to be that tight side to side.
That's it.
It's got to cover the hood rail, and that's where we've really got to get it
on and clamped. And
yeah, we can't see. Let me show you what we've got to. So that goes inside the car.
Mm-hmm.
That I think goes.
The popper.
Yeah. So it's got to go. Yeah, come right forward like that.
Okay.
And wrap over and be the same on the other side. This has got to be absolutely taut here. So it's got to be like that.
Okay.
We've got to really pull it as hard as we can. When it's locked in place like this, it's got to be drum tight. And we've got the roof just rested in place. We've taken off the catches for now, just to make it a little easier to line up. So what we want to do, this is where the weather strip will rivet under here. So it's going to be pressed into that channel there. Oops. It's going to press into that channel there, and it will flap over, I reckon, with about 12 millimeters or half an inch if you're watching in black and white, glued onto the inside of the header rail there. We'll notch it around the catches at the very last thing, and that's pretty much where the old hood was, and I think that's going to be right. So I reckon that's where we can go from there. So 2.5, 25, 45, 60. So I reckon 145 back, which is about here somewhere.
Okay.
Is the very edge of what will be visible.
Well, if we come in,
so I think we come in sort of there.
Yeah.
It's going to come over. It's going to wrap in there, and then just overlap on there. So we've got. So that's 90, 115, 135, yeah, 145 mil. So 145, which is there.
Use your straight edge.
And then we'll put the straight edge on there. Made a couple of marks on the inside of the hood fabric here, imagining that the roof is folded over. Everything from this line backwards will be visible inside the roof, so we want to keep glue well clear of that line. We will put a little bit of glue at the front here once it's wrapped over the header rail, but I don't want to glue that bit yet. I just want to put glue on to put it onto the header rail. So I'm going to be a little bit sort of pessimistic with the glue, as it were. So, and I'm just using basically a kind of an everyday contact adhesive here, painting it on, keeping well clear of those 2 pencil marks, and really trying hard not to get any runs or dribbles, leaving the edges free. We can always add extra glue later It's very difficult to remove it once you've got too much. So this is going to flash off quite quickly. It's quite a humid day today.
And do we put that also on the header rail as well?
Yeah, that's right. And then we let both go tacky. It's always a good idea. You can just do one coat, one surface, but where you've got one material that's quite porous, which this hood fabric is to a degree, it's always good to put a bond on both. We've got to make sure, let's get a central line on here. Probably should have done this first. Let's get a central line, say, on the windscreen frame and a central line on the hood fabric.
Okay.
So that we know where we're going to. Oh yeah, we put tape on.
Ah, you're up in it there. Okay, I see you.
So,
Centre line there.
centre line there.
And centre line of the hood, I guess, do we measure?
I think we're going to have to. I mean, that looks like it's sort of central on the windscreen frame.
Yeah, you're kind of level with the end of the windscreen there.
Yeah, okay, so I'm level there, so that's, just to keep everything central, that's centre of the hood frame.
Yeah. Okay, so the stitch is 94, am I right there?
940 mil.
Yeah. So that's 470. Halfway through, isn't it? Right there.
So we need to get that line in line. Let's just go to here for a sec.
And once you've got yours ready,
so we're going to have to pull it in this direction.
towards you.
No, you're going to have to pull it your way, but not so much that we pull it out of line.
Can we just check?
Yeah.
This a second.
That doesn't look very. It's got to come. Well, unless it's got to come my way. I mean, that lines up now, and that looks right at my side.
Well, then get your side down, and I'll keep mine up, so it's not contacting. But
I mean, that does look pretty good. That's going to hold that on there. I mean, I must say that looks pretty good. How's it looking at your side?
I'd say looking good. The sort of the drainage of the roof is in line with here, and this seam here is kind of coming in about an inch and a half into the windscreen.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right.
Okay.
And have you pulled it?
Are we touching? Are we touching? Are we touching?
Sorry, yeah, okay, just a little bit. In that plane, so pulling it that way.
Yeah.
Relax a bit, because you're pulling, don't pull it that hard.
Okay.
Just until you make sure, what we want to do is get the hood taut here.
Yeah, so like that.
Yep, I reckon that's central.
Okay.
Right, should
we try it?
Hang on, it's coming off the front. Can you see any of the header rail at your side? Sticking out here beyond the hood?
No, but where that strip is, this little strip here? Yes.
I think it's possibly a little bit too far your way.
Okay.
Relax a bit, because I can see header rail at my side.
Okay.
Can you see header rail now? That's where it's got to be on my side.
No, because the header rail was moved. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Are you down? Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Stop there. Just check. Just come around here a second.
Yeah.
Whilst that's just tacking on. We've got a header rail there.
Well, I'll have a little bit at this side as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I reckon that looks equal to me.
Okay.
Let's not trap that bit there. Oh, hang on. Maybe that does go on the inside of it. Actually, maybe that covers
rail.
Maybe that covers the header rail. Oh, yeah, it does. You know it.
And it falls in line with the quarter line then, like the A-frame.
Yeah, it glues over and hides the end of the end of the hood rail.
Oh, okay. Well, we can put a dash of glue on it.
Yeah, we can glue that later. Okay. Looking good, mate.
Okay. It's not pulling unnecessarily on the side.
No,
You've still got meat on this.
Yeah, that's touching the deck all the way along. I think that's where it's got to go, chum.
Yeah. Okay.
We can just tease the edges up and put a bit more glue in.
Yeah. Well, should we clamp that on?
Yes.
Okay.
So if we can bring the...
You do the clamps.
The clamps?
I'll walk around doing all the clamps as you go, because that gives you a bit of a visual as well on.
The bottom edge of this is loose, of course. What we're gluing is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We can tease that round. A bit of dust on these, sorry. But we can
That's
wipe
okay. It's going to rain, isn't it?
Sponge the hood down when we're done. Sorry, that's it. So it's going to be covered in road dirt and bird shit. And right.
Okay.
So I think let's let that down to wherever it rests. Oh no. Okay, so the header rails had a little time for the glue to set up, so we'll set the clamps off. As we fold it back, that's it. So what we need to do now is to get this nice and tightly around the end of this hood frame. Oh, there's a lady here with cake.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've done.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna. What I'm doing here is just making the holes in
The hood a bit big.
the hood a little bit bigger, just to get the rivets in. So I've just done 3 at this end. So my plan is to rivet the weather strip at this end, and then we'll sort of work our way down a bit. Or rather, we'll do the other end, and then we'll try and pull the middle through.
Okay. And we get the first bit on, and then.
Yeah, that's it. So if I have a rivet, please. Just check. So I'll put that through the hole in the fabric first.
You line it up, and then when you're happy, I'll put my fingers everywhere except for on the rivet. Okay.
I hope it's going to go in there like that. Let's have a. Shouldn't do at all. Okay, so all right, it's squashed the trim rail a bit, but we can open that up. But that's sort of
maybe it's we can.
That's pretty good, I think. Okay. So we'll put another one at this end, and then we'll go and do the other end, and then we'll pull the middle through.
Yep.
Little flaps here. There's a press stud, if you like. The male part of the press stud is riveted onto the windscreen frame there. So we're going to pop a press stud through here, which will allow us to snap. This is a sort of like a little, almost like a little weather shield bit on the inside, just stops any rain from blowing through. So I'm sort of doing this by eye. The press stud's about there, so it's kind of in the centre there. So I've got a punch here, which will allow me to make a hole through. Or not, because it's probably not the world's sharpest. This is not the sharpest punch in the box. So we've got, obviously, as I say, the, if you like, the male part of the press stud is on here. So this is the 2-part press stud. It's now 1-part press stud. This is the part that will snap on there. So this needs to be on the inside, and this part goes through. So it's got a little pin on it there, which will, a little bit fiddly, a little bit hard to see this, apologies. It's all the other fixings have come pre-fitted on the hood. I mean, nice if these ones were fitted as well, but yep. So we've got the press stud through, so that's the kind of the shiny bit of the press stud that you'll see. This is the, if you like, the sort of female part of the press stud. And then we've got this little tool which will allow us to crush over the inside. So it's not going to reach because this, it's a little bit difficult to see this.
Oh, you got it.
And that's riveted on. Yeah. So what it's done, the tool here, you see there's a little flat side that takes the domed head of the press stud. Little pin on the inside there. And what it does, goes inside and it just deforms that inner pin. I'm just going to give it another squeeze. Oh, just to make sure, and that's got it all pinched on really well.
So here we are after our epic 600-mile drive from Chelmsford in Essex to Potsdam here in Brandenburg, or England to Germany if you're watching outside of Europe. The mohair hood that we fitted before we left has been brilliant. The whole drive over, the weather was fantastic, so we had the roof down, but since we've been here, Dotty's been parked up for a day or two, and we've had some heavy rain showers. I was a little bit nervous, but I've come in and checked, and she's dry. The car's really watertight now, so installing this new hood has been a really good decision to make. It was a little bit tough. As you could see, we had some real issues with the frame getting twisted, and that really set us back about 4 hours, which meant we got really rushed towards the end, which is why I'm doing this closing piece of the camera here in Germany, and Jim's left. He's gone back home now to work on his new project. It is very tight at the moment, so I'm hoping over the next month or two the hood will stretch a little bit, but I'm hoping that's just a case of the hood material having to stretch out a little bit. Look, I might need to just adjust the clips. They slide. There's about 2 millimeters of travel on them, so I might just have to have a little play around with that. But otherwise than that, really happy. We've got now a winterproof, waterproof Dotty ready to enjoy. So yeah, another job ticked off the list.